Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the noisy 78 here in the West Loop. Going to Marc Nolan. It's a storefront here started by a Polish immigrant, now successful business entrepreneur right here in the West Loop. Sebastian is his name. We're gonna get a tour inside of Marc Nolan and hear about their collab with an interesting and fun cocktail bar here in Chicago. So that is the story from the 78 now in the West Loop. All right, so you're looking inside the lovely Marc Nolan store, and I am visiting with the owner, Sebastian. How are you, sir?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm doing well. So we were talking a little bit before we were on camera just about some of your history. Southsider from Poland.
Yes,
is that right?
That's correct. Yeah.
And so you started this space here by working in the industry, working with several people. Just give me that little explanation of what you were talking about prior.
Okay, so we are actually direct-to-consumer brand, so our bread and butter is selling shoes online. But I always wanted to give people the experience of who we are, what we do about it, and what kind of company we are. So this store actually represents the DNA of our company. And prior even launching my shoe company, I always wanted to create the best shoe store in the city of Chicago. So this kind of was my dream. So originally when we opened the store, we kept the design for a year and a half, and then I decided that it's not the way that I like it. I want it to be more homey. I want when people come to the store, I want them to feel like they come in a hangout space.
And that's definitely the vibe you have going on here. It's very, almost like a coffee house, but not a coffee house.
Kind of, yeah. That's what kind of
like a bar, but not a bar.
Yes. Like I like that Soho House vibe that you come in and you feel very welcome. You have several spots to sit from. You can sit on a couch, you can sit on a poof, you can sit on a chair, and every customer who comes in to visit us, we can make him espresso, we can offer him a cocktail, we can offer him some wine, and actually on the weekends we do offer like donuts and mimosa and champagne.
Really?
Yes.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Talk a little bit about just growing up, coming from Poland and your background and like discovering your inner designer, if you will, because that was something that you said was not unusual, but because your father passed early,
yes,
you were basically raised by two women that kind of gave you that sense of fashion. Or helped you discover it, maybe.
That's correct, yes. I guess that's where the whole thing started. I remember when I was younger, usually my friends from school or from kindergarten even, they were hanging out with their dads, like working around the house. So they're more manly jobs, and I was never surrounded that thing. So being with women, my mom and my grandma always take me shopping with them. What women like to do, go to the stores, look around clothing and shoes, and et cetera, et cetera. So that was kind of like embedded in my DNA since then. And growing up more and more, I was kind of evolving in me, and I always wanted to do something with the fashion. I just couldn't find the space that can find like exactly what I'm looking for, but I knew that it's going to be in fashion. So when I immigrated to America, as a typical immigrant, you try to get different jobs, whatever you can put your hands on. I was truck driver, I was parking cars, but I never felt myself too comfortable. And opportunity arose. I stumbled upon the shoe store in New York, and I've met Marc, my mentor, which the company is named after, and I started working and running his stores here in Chicago for probably over 10 years and learning all the ins and outs of the shoes, how they produce, what people look, what they need in shoes, and kind of like how the whole structure of business works. So that was probably my maybe 12 years of experience, how I gained through working for him and learning my next step, what I'm gonna do in the future. And that's how Marc Nolan was born.
Right, and also named after your son, right?
Yes, and around that time, Marc's business wasn't doing so well. He didn't transfer into direct-to-consumer. He didn't transfer his business into online business. That's why, therefore, he was struggling a little bit. And but I knew that that's the way to go. And my son was born, so I figured that I wanted to create a company, put two most important male figures in my life, which was Marc, and Nolan was born. So that's how the story of Marc Nolan began.
I love it. And you've done something pretty unique here with this collab with 3 dots and a dash. Come on over here, let's talk about it a little bit. Like, what do you got going on here? And this is also a good representation of what your shoe brand is all about.
That's, yeah, correct, exactly, that's what it is. And I think 3 dots is a great example that works maybe in a different trajectory of business because they are a bar, we are a shoe store, but we emphasize the same things in life for men, for instance. We like to have fun. Most of our customers, when they buy our product, they buy them for either events or going out for a concert or a nice cocktail lounge or wedding, for instance. So our DNA, it's fun. So it's Three Dots in a Dash. So when I've heard the opportunity to collaborate with them, their whole bar is fun. Like the cocktails are funky, they colorful, and they very bold. And we emphasize like good time, pretty much. So when the opportunity arises, we wanted to create a shoe that it's sad a little bit, that it's pettable, but it also stands out. You know, it's not too boring. So I think that's how what's it called? The name of the shoe is called Not Too Sweet. Mm-hmm. It's just kind of like the shoes are not too crazy. You know, like they have the little bit of teal color and tan pebble leather, but you can pair them with several different outfits: black pants, denim, khakis. You know, casual outfits, more evening going out. So that's a whole combination of those shoes, and I think that they represent the DNA of both of our companies.
Yeah, and you have the color scheme there with the three dots, and then the logo right there.
The logo's right here. It's actually embedded. That's their cocktail logo. It's like a skull and the cocktail.
Let me get a little.
So this is how the cocktail Not Too Sweet looks. So this is the recipe for the drink. It's probably the best to go to the bar and try it, because you have to buy so many ingredients. It'll be tough for you to do it. But, and you know, you might make a little mess, but it's a tasteful drink, and it's just like our shoes. Looks great and it tastes great. You know.
And these are just some more of the examples. I mean, this isn't everything that you have, because you're online as well.
Yeah, we are
right?
online. We curate inventory to each store what we have, and this is what we have for our spring and summer collection. So for winter, for most of the part, we hide the boots and we just focus on loafers and lace-ups. And when the winter comes, when the changes of season, especially in Chicago, we swap and we bring the loafers back to the warehouse and we bring the boots out.
And for people who want to come by, how are like the collab, like with the three dots, is that something temporary? Is that a limited time?
It was limited time, only slightly around 300 pairs, but we are almost sold out on all of them. So we're down to, I think, 50, 60 pairs.
Wow.
So I assume that within probably a couple of weeks, we won't have much of them left. You know?
So come here now.
Come here right away,
if you want
because
these
you won't
things.
find it, yes.
And do you have any more collabs coming up in the future?
And not in this year. We're working on something with one artist, actually, for fall, not from Chicago. And I can't discuss who we're talking to, but yeah, we work on a couple collaborations for next year.
And what's the best way for people to buy shoes? I mean, come to this spot here in the West Loop, but what's the website?
Yeah, you can go simply to marcnolan.com, and the shoe is called Not Too Sweet, and it's actually on the first page, and it's on the home page, on the bottom of the home page. So you can simply buy them there. It's free shipping, free exchanges, or you can just come to the store and try them on.
Well, Sebastian, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for showing me the shoes and giving me a tour of your wonderful space here.
Thank you so much. Thanks for coming in. Great having you here.
All right, that is the story from the 78 here in the bustling neighborhood of West Loop, Tom Varnish, Chicago at gmail.com. If you have a story from the 78, or hit me up at the website storiesfromthe78.com. We'll see you later, everybody.